and retraining them for their future careers after racing. So I hope I can give you a good all-round aspect in the thoroughbred industry and what we do, and hopefully today is more about dealing with the farrier and vet, with young stock and some of the sale preppers, and I'll give you a small insight into what we're looking for when we're trimming foals and things like that. I'll just turn the phone around. This is my beautiful yard with some lovely brood mares. This is the main yard, and we mainly have the foaling lot on this yard. That's where I live, which is ideal for foaling. And stay tuned for later on when we have the farrier and vet here. This morning we got Chris in, the farrier. He's going to look at some of the brood mares and foals, and he's going to explain what we're looking for when we're trimming a foal.
So basically, initially we just have a general look round, see if there's anything that's sort of that doesn't look quite right. Sort of also looking at the mare as well, the mare's conformation, because sometimes that can be passed on for the foal. And then yeah, you just watch it walk up stuff. So we just watch the foal sort of walk away. When it's walking away, I'm looking at the back feet, just seeing how the limbs are generally moving and landing, and just making sure that everything's where it wants to be and it's moving as straight as it can be. So this is a 4-week-old foal, which if it behaves will look good. Go again, Seth. And always, whilst looking at foals, sort of never afraid to watch them walk a few times, because you know you don't always see everything straight off. I think at this age you've just got to take into account that a foal will lean towards the mother or towards the leader. Yeah, so that near foal looks like it's just sort of towing out a bit, but for me that's because it's just leaning towards Sophie. And, it's not necessarily a great concern.
So Chris is picking up the foot, and he's now looking at the angulation of the foot and seeing how symmetrical it is on either side. The idea is to balance his feet so he walks as straight as possible and his bones and limbs end up being as straight as possible, and we don't have a wonky leg deviating out or in. So Chris is going to start up with the back end, mainly because it's the end that the foal doesn't see and get upset about to begin with. And it gradually gets the foal used to the farrier picking their feet up. As you can see, they're tiny little feet. It's not a lot to take off. Why are we trimming them at this stage, Chris?
Just to keep everything correct, really. You don't want sort of feet getting too long, and you just want to just keep everything sort of short and tight, just so the limb can function as it naturally should. And also, it's the foundation of their life, really. It's a good time to start. They've got to, you know, eventually this one will go into sort of racing, hopefully, and you know, where it'll be short. So, you know, the sooner you can start handling and trimming and, you know,
getting the feet balanced.
Yeah,
it's like with the motto, your prep starts from day one.
So we're just reassessing the foal after the trim, just to make sure that we're happy with the direction the limbs are going in. This for me is quite a nice, you know, it's a nice colt. He's, you know, nice and strong. He's got good chest. You could argue that he's, you know, he's a little bit typical A-frame foal, but you know, if a foal's got a good chest, I like both fronts to just go out a touch, really. and you know, and they're out a little bit as a pair rather than, you know, it's more of a concern if you get one limb that's going out or in. And yeah, behind he's quite nice. He's good and strong. Fetlocks are up. That, you know, and his hocks are looking nice and strong. He's generally for a month-old foal, he's nice and tight everywhere where he should be.
Job's a good one.
Yeah.
One happy foal, nice and balanced, and happy mare. Super job, Safe. So this morning we're doing some of the broodmare's teeth. This girlie has a foal at foot. Under here. Hello, little chappie. And we're just getting her teeth done while she's empty and before we get her served. It's important to check all the mare's teeth. This girlie's not holding her condition, and when you feel up inside her mouth, her teeth are like needles. So I've got my vet in, who's doing a great job at making her teeth more comfortable, and she should gain a bit more weight, do her foal better and herself. A nice store horse we got going up to Doncaster sales at Goffs. She's just had her front shoes done, and she's going to get a lovely set of overreach boots that she'll live in 24/7.
Farrier happy.
Yeah, it keeps the farrier happy and it keeps us happy, because we don't want them losing shoes before the sale. So, happy shoeing. And then the girls come in at 7. We start mucking out, get the foals out as well. The in-work horses go on the walker. And then we start riding out when everything's mucked out and done. We also had a little special something last night. Alright guys, I'm coming. They're all hungry. Starving Marvin. Yes. We had a girly foal last night. There's the little one. And you're hungry too, aren't you? Yeah, so I recorded this foaling, so I'm going to show you all glimpses of it throughout today. Some of them need a little bit extra time on the roads to build up a little bit more gradually, build more muscle before they go into training. And some of them are recovering from injuries that just need that little bit more time, a little bit more specified programs to help build them up. And just generally give them the best chance possible at keeping a happy, sound season ahead of them. So these guys are on a walk-trot program for the next 12 weeks around the roads, gradually building up towards canter work at the end of that. And then they're going to go into training. So yeah, these are our guys that we ride most days, and I'll show you some of the horses that do a bit of work on the floor. Good girl, Tirot. And we get them lunging initially, getting them fit and getting them listening to our voices. They learn to carry themselves in the lunging aids. Sometimes we use pursuers, side reins, German aids, depending on the horse itself. And then eventually we'll get long reining just before the sale. This is where we walk behind them, teach them to steer independently. And it's the basis before you get on a horse. They learn to steer and behave and learn to just generally do things with the rider behind them, and eventually they'll take the rider on top of them much easier. So these are the guys going to sales. I just thought I'd let you know how they get on. Walk on. Good girl. Steer her across the arena. Try to, it's quite hard with one hand. Good girl, and we'll do a circle. So this teaches the horse to steer before we're on top of them. There's no way I'd want to get on a horse without knowing it can steer with the reins. Walk on. And this is the best way to teach a horse to walk independently, trot independently, walk around the farm. And this is the grounding for this horse's whole life. If this isn't done properly, they'll have a hard mouth, or they'll be one-sided, or they'll learn to be nappy, and that's certainly not what we want in their future careers. There we are, walking around the farm. To me, it's as important to do long reining everywhere. Teaches the horse to not be scared, to go forwards, listen to the person that's dealing with them. But also, they're never going to just be in an arena for the rest of their lives, so they may as well learn what that big outside world's all about. This girlie is showing the first signs of foaling. She's digging up her box, rolling, classic signs of colic really, abdominal pain, because the foal is giving her discomfort and she'll start contracting soon. You can see her respiratory rate is up and her nostrils are flared, so she's in a little bit of pain. We put a tail bandage up to keep things clean and for me to view the first sign before we start. I'm just going to have a feel inside just to double check. I've got my gloves on to try and keep clean and not transfer any bacteria into her. So I'm going to feel, see if there's teeth and legs. Yeah, there is. And we got a head, so that's good. It's quite fatty inside. And I'll leave her to it. Foal's presenting correctly, so we'll just see if she can do some of it herself.
Good girl. Good girl.
Good girl.
Good girl. Brave. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
Just wipe all the false nasal fluid out. There we go. Little one has just learnt where the milk bar is. This can be a painstaking task when it's at about 3 o'clock in the morning. But this chap's quite lively. Normally boys are quite lazy at finding the milk bar, but he's quite lively. And he followed my finger straight up there. I'm still a little bit sensitive, but it's really important that we make sure that foals get enough milk, colostrum in them within the first few hours, because the colostrum is the most important thing to give them a kickstart in life for their antibodies, building them a natural immune system. You can sound she's a very good mummy. I'll just point him in the right direction again. Hold fire, little one. Back you go. There you go. So we got the foal having its vet check. First of all, we start with the foal's heart rate. Steady bubba. Oh, it's a lively one. Baby. Very important for the foal to be fully checked over. We'll start off with the heart. No murmurs. No heart murmurs, which is good. Now the vet's looking at all the limbs to check there's no bad deformities or swelling. Oh, you're a wild child. And then she's going to go and check the umbilicus. Check that it's dried up properly. There's no awful hernias or anything. It's quite a thick umbilical, this one. Very lively foal.
Just checking.
Now we're checking the eyes of the foal, and we'll be checking the foal's mouth. Check she hasn't got a cleft palate and an undershot or overshot jaw, which will affect her later on in life. Keep saying her, but it's actually a colt. And now we're going to take the foal's blood, which could be quite interesting because I think it's going to be a Wrigley type. Yeah. This is to check the IgG level, which is basically the antibodies, to see if the foal has drunk enough colostrum off mother. And if the foal hasn't, then we administer some plasma transfusion. And this will help encourage the antibodies build up into the foal. The mare's milk tested really well last night, as you all saw on the video. So we shouldn't have any problems. Now we're just administering. I'm going to double check the foal has had its meconium taken from its gut, which is the foal's first poos. Sometimes colts are quite bad for getting little impactions. I think we might have a naughty child again.
I don't blame them. But we're good, Yeah, let him go.
Oh,
go little.
Right, can we get you back up again? Come on. Up you get. A lot of foals get into a bit of stroppiness about this. It's not very nice. And we're basically jabbing and injecting this poor little innocent baby foal. Right, now we're going to check the mare. She's got quite a lot of edema underneath her. It's going to take a long time to get this down with her. Good girl. Good udder. Still a little bit sensitive.
Oh, girl.
All right, good girlie.
Yeah, but she has got good.
She's got good milk there. Doesn't look like she's got any mastitis or anything like that. The vet's just going to check the mare behind, check she hasn't torn, or there's no abnormalities. She did tear very slightly because she's got a caslick there.
A tiny skin tear, nothing more.
Nothing severe. As you can see, the foal is still attached by the umbilical cord, and these last few pumps of blood from mother's adrenaline are the important bits. She's also what you call a slight red bag, where the placenta hasn't detached and come with a foal. So just pull her front back legs out. Just so that when the foal kicks, it doesn't kick inside the mare. Even though you aren't in the best of places, girlie. God, you're a big one. There you go. Alright, that's the foal's back legs out of the mother. So if the foal has a kick now, it's not going to ruin the mare inside. Foalie isn't in the best of positions because mum isn't. We'll try and get her up in a minute and give her a bit of time to get up. Put foal against this bank. You're doing good, aren't you? Alright, that's the foal's back legs out of the mother. So if the foal has a kick now, it's not going to ruin the mare inside. Foalie isn't in the best of positions because mum isn't. We'll try and get her up in a minute and give her a bit of time to get up. Put foal against this bank. You're doing good, aren't you? Big Foalie. There we go. This placenta's going to be all over the place. Morning everyone, we're driving to Molland Park Stud today. We are getting one of the National Hunt Bears covered. I always try and get a morning slot, so that's what we've done. We've got up at the crack of dawn, we're on the road. And yeah, I thought I'd show you all what we do when we cover a mare. She's had her ovulatory drugs this morning, and we've tail bandaged her up and got her nice and clean for a little date today. And tune in for the next little instalment when we actually get her covered. There we have a follicle there, just measuring it.
About 3.5 centimetres.
3.5 centimetres, so we're not too far away now.
Not a massive amount of pattern in yet.
She could be better. There we go, happy girly. Folded at the front. Good girly. Good boy. And then go to his flank again. Up towards his flank. Good boy, Purse. Yeah, we'll do the other side. Alright, we're coming, girlies. It's the best time of night to be checking the horses, checking their legs. They're quiet and you can really notice if the mares are changing, whether we're going to have babies or not. And this is the horses that are in work. Some of them are out at night as well. And here's the yard mascots. You're right, Bob. It's Pumpkin in there too. But yeah, I love to skip out at night. Saves on my bedding, keeps the beds clean, and gives me an opportunity to look at each horse, check that everyone's happy. Right, dinner time it is, guys. Children going to the paddocks. We lead every foal with their mares, don't we, little one? Does them some good. Wild children today. Ready? Morning everyone, we're just going to show you what we do when we're prepping up the sale horses. They all, on my yard, get a promo video. So this morning I'm going to show you what we do. We get the horse looking really good as best as we can. Do their feet, black them out nicely. And this is a really important little shop window for us. It gets us out into the social media and try and hope that buyers start looking at these videos before they get to the sale. So I get their feet blacked out, brush the tail out, just going to give her a shine up, because these pictures are really important. We want them to look as best as they can, like they would be at the sale. We're still a week away. It's a sunny day, so we've got to make the most of the good weather. So we're going to do our pictures and some videos. to try and promote these horses that are going to the sales. We're going to put some quarter marks on. Just help show off the horse's conformation. You can do different quarter marks to show certain areas. She's got a lovely good hind end to her. She looks like a 4-year-old, not a 3-year-old. So we can do some hunter stripes which help enhance the bottom. She's got a really good bottom, so I'm going to just do some squares. Shark's teeth. It's all the ponciness, and I quite like doing that because it shows off the animal as best as you can. We're consigning them. We do our absolute best to promote the animal. Stay tuned and we'll show you what we do when we take the horses for a picture and a video as well. Okay, so we're trying to show off the animal. This isn't showing off our animal. We encourage our horses to stand in an A-frame so that the horse shows itself off in front of the person. So she's actually showing herself better off on the other side, the off side of the horse. We're going to get her to move both her front legs and her hind legs so that she's in an open frame and showing off her beautiful conformation, because this horse is so well put together. We need to show her off, and this is what we're going to do. Amy, if you just walk her on half a step. Beautiful. So she's in a nice position there. I'm just going to re-correct this front leg slightly. Good girl. And I'm just going to take a step back. She's got a mane on the wrong side. I'm going to get my camera ready. Beautiful. Good girl. And we're going to get her ears to prick. What a natural. What a natural. Right, stay tuned for the video. Naughty boy. Artie. Happy Friday. Every Friday is weigh day. We weigh all the horses in the yard. The in-work horses, from the horses out in the field to the babies, brood mares and the foals. It's really important to weigh the foals. To me, it's a very good way of sussing out how well the foal's doing off the dam. And on average, a foal would put on about 7 to 10 kilos a week, and if they're not putting on that weight, you know they're not quite getting the milk or the quality of the milk, so we would subsidise them. And same with the brood mares. It's really important to weigh them post foaling because they lose so much fluid from foaling, some of them do. You want them to regain that steadily without being it too fast. So yeah, here we have a lovely Jack Hobbs colt, and he's a whopping 77 kilos. It's just doing the markings of the foal. Now this is what will be on the foal's passport when the passport eventually comes. So you can see she's got a well, 2 wells on her head actually.
A double one.
And we've put that on her marking sheet right there.
And one under the forelock.
And one under the forelock. And this is what will be on her passport, a bit like us having a photo taken. It'll be on their passport. Their wells don't change, they're there forever. If they've got any white markings, sometimes they get a white sock, like her mum has a white sock there. That's all recorded. Any white stars or blazes is recorded. And this will be their passport for the future. So we're just about to take some bloods off this foal. The bloods are for the DNA, and they're sent off to Weatherby's stud book. The foalies don't always like this. Very important to take bloods to determine the genetics of the foal. Make sure that the dam and sire do connect to the actual foal that we have. It's a good baby. And then the next process is where we scan the foal's neck, double check that it's not had a microchip. I know this foal hasn't. But it's always best just to double check, just in case someone's mixed anything up. Nothing there on both sides. Sometimes the Irish do it the other way. Nothing found there. And then now for the horrible needle. This has the big microchip in. Foals don't often like this bit. Super job. And now we're going to rescan and check that microchip's gone in. Super job, you see that?
Give some milk.
There we go, we'll let the foal go. Should go and drink some milky right now. Happy mum. These are our lovely all-weather turnout paddocks. They're ideal for turning out some of these store horses that we've got to keep safe. And also some of the rehabs that just aren't ready to be turned out in the field but want a small area that's safe to be turned out in. They have the hay and the tyres. And they're all happy horses. It allows us to turn them out 24/7, whatever the weather, midwinter, whatever. They at least get a few hours fresh air and they're happy horses. Here's the guys in the summer field. This chap's got his rug on. He's starting to be broken in next week, so we keep them rugged before they're in exercise. Hey you guys! Hello? How are you all doing? Hello, big boy. Lovely big 4-year-old. You're a giant baby. Got another 2-year-old here. There's Duke de Greveniers, Arkle winner. I think you won it in the 2019 Cheltenham Festival. Hey guys! And 2 yearlings being lazy. We've also got some lovely heat lamps in some of the foaling boxes. They warm the beds up beautifully. They've got fans on as well, so if a mare's really sweaty after foaling, it'll dry them off without us having to intervene with them. 5-star hotel for them. So we've arrived at Goff's UK store sales. All the horses have settled in nicely. They're all tucking into their hay happily. Nice big beds. Right, baby. We're going to give them a lunge now and have a practice trot up. There's Mole, my helper. And we shall tune in and hopefully tomorrow we'll be showing you some bettings. So we're at Goff's, we're at the sale complex. We're just about to take the girlies for a little leg stretch. I always give them a lunge in the afternoon because they're going to be lunging the vet department tomorrow. And we've travelled 6 hours, so it's good to blow them out. There we go. Just leg stretching this girly. This is the Black Sun Bellamy X Chillicilla. Good girly. Whoa. 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 Good girl. Just gives them a bit of time to settle in. Blow the cobwebs out after a long journey. Hey girly. So just because we're at the sales doesn't mean to say we're not doing our late night checks. So we're coming to see the guys. There's our bright yellow banners, just to make sure people can see us. Oh, they look like they're snoozing. We're going to just check their waters, check their feeds. They're going to have a little bit of a top up the feed and have their jammies on. And then they'll be tucked up for the night. Fingers crossed we have a good day tomorrow, everyone passes their vetting, and I'll keep you all informed. I'm going to try, if the vets will let me, record a vetting and let you know what it's all about. Such as ulcers or something like that. Now you just check all the throat. Good girl. Now he's going to give the mare a general feel over. Check there are no lumps or bumps anywhere, any sarcoids on the horse. Check the distal limb of the horse. Now he's checking the tendon and ligaments. And we're going to turn them around sharply to see how they cross their hind feet. And then watch them go backwards. They're just going to check for levels in the back, check a pelvis looks straight. The next process will be lunging. So that's the vetting completed. We had a bit of a disappointment today. 3 of our horses passed with flying colours, but our other horse somehow this morning knocked herself post lunging, and she isn't 100%. And therefore the vets aren't going to put her through. We're not afraid to say this, but I mean it's really important people realise they aren't going to pass if they're not 100% sound. This horse was 100% yesterday, 100% this morning. Just at this moment in time when the vets went to see her, she wasn't, which is a great shame for the vendor and for us. We've all put a lot of work into it. We're going to see how she is tomorrow, work hard on her little knock and see if she's sound. I'm not selling an unsound horse, so we'll see how she is tomorrow.